Good morning, traders. This is Brian Booth, Senior Market Strategist here with MF Global in Chicago with the morning update for the softs markets. When we concluded the week on Friday, looking at all the softs across the board, everyone waited on bated breath here in anticipation of some sort of a plan here from the G20 summit over the weekend. From what I read, the idea was to have some kind of concrete plan put into place for for European banks to get things under control here. Now, from what I've read, it looks like it's going to be a continuation of kicking the can. I don't know if anybody really expected that things would just be solved or that there would be any definite answers without at least things having to go through to a vote before you could put plans in place. But nonetheless, from our last summit, there was news that major players in the world would continue to provide liquidity for the euro. So I think that will provide stability, and I think that's what you saw, a little pricing in of at least something something that would be an idea for later to how to keep the euro stable going into the end of the year. Now, as we open up here today, we have a mixed market to get started on the day, and a lot of news this week throughout in the United States. Each day we have reports coming in that could affect the market, but I think the overall idea is seeing how traders read this the news from the summit over the weekend. So how does that up for the softs markets? Whatever the fundamentals are for each one of these markets, they all in one way, shape, or form benefited from the bullish run that we had over this last week. Sugar taking probably the brunt or the most of that rally. At 28.20 was the last for the March, and we're right up against the August and September consolidation. If you take a look, so this is where even last week I'd mentioned 28.50 or so. If we start to close above that level, then if short positions, if you're holding anything anything short, then you definitely want to be cautious here. We've seen sugar rally for weeks on end off news that was very minimal at best. So being up against that resistance level here doesn't surprise me one bit. We finished the week around that price, and we'll continue to be there until we get some sort of a direction from major markets as well. December cocoa actually did sell off after its rally, but it's that can change in a heartbeat. It's down today at 26.18. It failed against the highs from October and in late September. So that resistance level comes into play, much like the 28.50 in the sugar. Dee's coffee 237.75, and it's against that resistance level again. Same thing. They're all holding, waiting for a direction from let's say global equity markets. So if we do see a heavy sell-off today, if this news was read as disappointing, I think these markets will have to stay in check. Lastly, December cotton 101.65, and it's I'm looking for closes above the 50-day moving average, and that comes in at 104.18. If you get to a daily chart for December cotton, put in the 50-day moving average and take a peek at how many times we failed at that number. So again, I think I think a lot of the markets definitely benefited from last week's rallies. I think that will continue if we continue to rally as well, despite the fundamentals for a short term. But if we do have a big sell-off, I'd be thinking about taking short positions, especially in a market like the sugar, maybe even the cocoa again, seeing if we could press down the new lows if we do start to sell off. So. If you have any questions about any of the markets that we just presented here today, or any of the markets that we traded at MF Global, feel free to contact my office at 800-993-6601 or by email at bbooth@mfglobal.com. Remember that futures trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors.